All right, we're reacting to Mr. AndyPantsGaming again. I just have a couple of key points before I start on this video. So, in his Ackman debate, he decided to say, well, Ackman, someone said something that might seem as derogatory, a little bit of guilt by association he tried to pull in the debate. And I just happened to find this little shot right here. You see what I'm saying right here where it says AndyPants's gaming Discord server is awful. Now, if I were to do a little, know you and show some evidence, you see what the comment says in AndyPants's Discord server, but he's trying to criticize Ackman about his Discord being bad, and the phrasing says from a user as followed: "Get this N-word off my screen." I'm pretty sure there's a lot more that's terrible and censored and not so kid-friendly for YouTube from Mr. AndyPants's server, so that's star 1 of him being a hypocrite. Star 2 of him being a grifter is this self-admitted clip. There's 2 of them that I'm going to find for you guys as I make fun of them, and I know the AndyPants fans can't take it. Oh, I know this is like World War II to you guys. I'm sorry, but it's something I have to do because I find it to be fascinating to me. So he deletes debates, and it's something very interesting that he said in this debate by VanMan8526. And let's listen to it. Let's see, let's turn up the volume. There we go. Turn up the volume.
Through any logical means.
But I think it means you have no integrity. That's all I'm going to say. And you're right.
Can you go back? Wait.
No.
What did you say just 25, 30 seconds ago?
Dude, you're right.
Wait. Can you just reiterate what you were saying? I kind of spaced out for a second.
Really? You want me to repeat what I just said?
Yeah. Just really hammer it home.
I said that you are playing both sides. You have no integrity. And I know that you're gonna cut together a video of me a year ago saying something stupid, and I'll be the first to say that I've grown since then and I've moved on from former views.
Yeah, you moved on from the Xbox console warrior grift to the anti-LGBTQ grift.
Sure, if that's what you want to call it. Have you?
That's what it is, man.
Look at that shit-eating grin on Ackman's face. That's just so fucking funny. He caught him in a lie. He was just like, you moved on from the Xbox grift to the anti-woke grift, and he said, sure, if that's what you want to call it. It's like, that's what it is. And you're just over here casually admitting it, being caught in lies, seeing older posts of AndyPants on his previous Xbox channel admitting to grifting being bad before, but he caved into the algorithm. He caved into what people want to see according to his own rhetoric when he was talking about Xbox and being anti-grifting. How the tables have turned, Mr. AndyPants. I know you have a die-hard fan base, and I know you guys are not gonna like this video. You're not gonna accept it, but this guy is not only a rage baiter. I don't know what type of character he's playing. I know some people try to defend it, saying it was a facade, and well, apparently this man who likes to be behind a facade had a discussion with the Ackman, so I can clearly see it has to be some form of just some meaning of trying to get people into videos to debate with them. So some initiative is going on between him and the people he deems woke in the gaming community, but apparently your king here, your king Mr. AndyPants, does not like when people riff on him or make fun of him or say his debating skills are rather shit in 4K live, chest open, because my god, look at the comment section. It's a barren wasteland for a reason. The comments are turned off. What happened, AndyPants? What's going on? Why can't I not comment? Where's my old comment where I said Ackman won? Oh wait, you disabled the comment section because this video is overrun by disingenuous Ackman cucks, but you can't be sincere about your old Xbox channel and the fact that you said, oh well, grifting is bad, but I'm going to shift to anti-woke grift, right? AndyPants fans, look, I know you love this guy. You probably think he's the most funniest thing in the world, but listen to me, okay? I don't find him funny if you're saying, oh, well, it's all a joke. Unless this guy is like just the most enigmatic, funny character of all time and his persona is being a dumbass, it's not working with me. I don't like his jokes. I don't like his explanations. I don't like his quote-unquote character because his character is very disingenuous, okay? And therefore, that is subject to ridicule, debates, or discussions. Remember, freedom of speech, like I told people before. So I can make reactions on AndyPants and I can find his humor to not be so funny, or his comparisons to be shit, or his discussion points to be kind of awful if I choose to. And same goes with jokes or anything on this platform. Like, anybody can have a video made on them because response videos have been around since the dawn of time, and they're gonna be around when I'm in the fucking ground, all right? It's just a thing on YouTube. So AndyPants fans, before you white knight him, you have to accept this logic. I know you're not going to, but you really should. So it's time to make another video on AndyPantsGaming, right? It's time to make another fun reaction, and I found one I want to get to, and that is also him saying, oh, the pussification of video games. Oh, there's no masculine games. I forgot to add Space Marine 2 and Helldivers 2 to that example, you know, with your buzz as you hell dive, and that shit was about democracy and shooting aliens, you know, all that shit. It was a good time, a swell time, actually. Super, you know, masculine alien killing rewarding time, and he did not mention that in his examples. Ackman brought up some good ones like Leon Kennedy. Men want to be him, the ladies want to fuck him. That's another example. Resident Evil 4 remake, I think that was a Game of the Year contender, right? You know, this very Chad character being illustrated in video games. The Doom guy, Doom. Doom was another example I failed to bring up. So, you know, this whole everything is pussified, you can't just ignore masculine protagonist or masculine themes that happened recently, because at that point you're just trying to cherry pick and find some sort of bias, some confirmation bias about, oh well, one thing exists but the other thing doesn't anymore, and it's not in a mass like sort of drove as before. There's always going to be games that are created for everyone. There's going to be ultra violent and mature games where you're stomping people's heads in like no tomorrow, like watermelons. There's going to be the more cozier type of games that are probably meant for children or females or anyone of that nature. You have to understand that not all things cater to you because they exist, and it doesn't mean that singling out that audience and being like, you know, either a bigot or some other nature like that is cool behavior to do, because guess what, that just simply makes you look like an asshole, right? That makes you look like you can't accept any other person of the sort just trying to vibe and live their life. Like, that's just how it sounds to me, fam, and that's the points that I'm giving you. You can play COD until your hands just start turning blue. None of that super masculine shit is going away. Your first person shooters, all that shit, it makes money, it makes bread, so they're gonna keep making certain games like that where you can stomp someone's head into the finest wine. All right, now at this point we're really gonna get into the video. We're gonna talk about his topic of, are gamers homophobic? The most oppressed group of all time, gamers. And let's hear what he has to say.
The word homophobic has become meaningless and is a term mostly used by the mentally ill now. Let me explain why. The LGBTQ tilde percentage sign et sign mafia has always told us we just want to be accepted and we just want to exist. The reality is they've always been able to exist, and at least since the 80s in America, nobody has really cared if you were gay, trans, lesbian, a crossdresser, fat, or whatever.
I'm pretty sure that lack of acceptance spilled over into the 90s, because I've seen very conservative families still not accept that stuff even back then. So I think his metric is like way off for dictating that. I'm pretty sure that it didn't start becoming accepted until the late 2000s. Yeah. And even now, with people like you still don't accept it because of the way you act. So it's just, it is what it is. It's kind of little AndyPants gamers out there that really take this stuff seriously, and they don't understand that you are a vector of this spreading around with all this hatred and everything and stuff that you spew. But apparently people think you're the funniest person of all time, which I don't, but that's just my opinion, and it is what it is.
But the homo community has started a new initiative the past 25 years, and it's this. It's not enough for us to exist anymore. You have to celebrate us, or you're a bigot.
If that's an extremist person on the other side, then that logic is wrong. You know, you shouldn't have to celebrate someone being lesbian, bi, or queer if you don't want to celebrate those things. But it's also kind of like common sense if someone's like being self-reflective and they're not bothering anybody, and it's just like, you know, you don't have to be an asshole. I think it's common respect. It's like, I respect you, you respect me, and we'll get along just fine. But it's other people that are like, I see this person, I will judgmental them, I will put them into some box, I will completely show my discrimination and hate. And then we have the little AndyPants Juniors of the world who takes this stuff very seriously. So yeah, I do believe there is both sides to the equation, for better and for worse, or maybe for worse and for worse, no matter how you see it.
You have to watch two men making out in a video game, and you have to like it. Otherwise, you're quote unquote hateful. You have to let.
I don't. I fast forwarded that by accident. But I don't think it's just a romance in a video game. At the end of the day, it doesn't bother me, especially if you're kind of like an RPG person, for example. If you're like an RPG guy, right? And you have the option to romance whoever you want. I mean, it's just, you could do whatever the fuck you want. It don't really matter. Now, of course, seeing people like naked in the streets and stuff like that, for anyone's sake, whether you're straight or the other way around, that is indecent exposure. That part, I will say, is indecent exposure, and I don't think that people outside should be really seeing all that shit. You know what I mean?
Let your 5-year-old watch two dudes railing each other. Otherwise, you're, wait for it, homophobic.
Okay, wait, hold on. I'm not sure at a parade people are like railing each other. Maybe going a little bit too far and being naked, but hold on. What scenario are you painting? Is this like a porno beach? Like, what are you talking about? What the fuck? Like, okay, and your kid's gonna see two people rail each other. They might see that in their lifetime, and you may never know, because some children and some teenagers have gotten away with seeing sexual content at a young age. I should know, because I'm one of them. My aunt tried to shield my eyes from like a sex scene, and I already saw it. It was way too late. And then I seen it again, and nobody knew at the time. So it's like, you could try to hide things from your children all you want to, but at times you're never gonna know what they see, especially if they go to like public school. That's gonna be that's gonna be crazy. And what all these other kids do and how social media has advanced, it's like, yes, I understand trying to protect your babies, but you can only protect them for so long before the real world comes a knocking. And I think that's very hard to disagree with, even if you're not a parent. Even if you're a parent, that's very hard to disagree with. It's gonna happen eventually, but you can like try to say, hey man, this is not right. You can't be seeing your people out there naked in the streets and your kid is walking around. I gotta understand saying something. I seen some people walk up to people and punch them for doing that. It's like I don't condone violence like that whatsoever, but I've seen it happen firsthand. So you have had moments where there is some sort of reaction to someone being very scantily clad outside, and some parents are like super protective, but they can't protect them forever.
And like, I gotta hand it to you guys. It's a brilliant psyop to try to make people feel guilty for not liking whatever you're doing.
It's a brilliant psyop that you went from a Xbox grifter channel to this and what you're doing now. That's crazy, especially since you said Luke Stevens was a grifter you did not like, and now I guess, well, you're in the same boat, right? So yeah.
But a truly astute linguist and student of culture won't fall for this piss poor attempt at mind control via poorly constructed compound words.
Mind control. I just thought that was funny. I'm sorry.
Random question. Do you think I could sell 1 million records if I just convinced everybody that they were Andy-phobic if they didn't buy my record? Brilliant. Look at all these Andy-phobic people out here. How dare they not buy my album? Imagine if
I don't think anyone is thinking of you in that vein, because you're just a YouTuber with like 161k subscribers. In the real world, that don't mean shit to anybody. So yeah, I don't think anyone will ever say Andy-phobic or anti-Semitic ever in their lives, unless it's you.
If Olive Garden started a campaign to say that if you didn't eat there once a week, you're Italio-phobic. If I don't
This is just making weird correlations and exaggerations and stuff that is not sticking. Like, the only one who is saying this is you. Just keep that in mind.
like country music, am I country phobic? If I don't like America, am I America phobic? It's an absolutely insane concept to disparage people and try to make people feel guilty for not buying whatever bullshit you happen to be selling today.
Well, no. There are people that are legitimately homophobic. I mean, let's go over to what people were saying when The Last of Us came out with Druckmann. Yeah, you see the screen cap. You take a good look at it. Take a very good look at it. It's some very coarse language in this one. There's some very interesting insults in this one. None of them good. None of them good. None of them I can condone to saying to someone, even if you dislike their product or not. A lot of real hatred in this post. So there are some people that do legitimately feel that way, and the way that they feel is just very, very nasty and kind of disgusting. You know what I mean? It's more than disgusting. But here's your prime example, since you don't believe that this behavior exists, apparently, in your weird thinking patterns of comparisons and country phobic and all this other shit, Mike phobic, orange juice phobic, whatever the fuck you're trying to say. It's just stupid. All right, yeah, there is legitimate homophobia in communities, and I found a prime example, so there you go.
So insert word here, aphobia is clever wordplay used by a dominant group to make themselves seem to be more oppressed than they really are. And
I don't think it's oppression, but you know, we'll just disagree there.
I think you have to give it to Christians. Despite there being 2 billion of them regularly experiencing persecution.
I swear to God, I'm about to cut the fucking video off right now of his point throughout this whole video is, oh, is it Christian phobia if people don't like Christians? Is it computer phobia if people don't like PCs? I swear to fucking God, I don't know why people find this guy entertaining. He's not entertaining. He will take the same point from the beginning of the video and run with it throughout the whole video and not really have some nice scientific data, and his data is flawed and his logic is flawed, and fucking he just does this for like the next 5 minutes and I'm gonna be bored out of my mind. All right, I swear if I see it again, that's it. All right, I don't know how much I can take.
Execution, murder, and being butchered around the globe, not once have I seen Christians accuse anyone of Christophobia. But my only point here is that sometimes dominant groups will call their enemies blank-ophobic as a psyop to make them seem oppressed when they're really the oppressor, like the LGBTQ community. According to white...
I tell you, man, sometimes, you know what's funny? You know what's ironic and funny? Sometimes you, the straight white man, tends to act oppressed, thinking that you're going to be wiped out because of the great replacement theory. And you remember that shit? Look that up. The great replacement theory. A lot of that happened when Spider-Man 2 was a thing. Oh God, Peter is going to be replaced by Miles Morales, the Black Spider-Man, and we're getting replaced, and we won't have our protagonist come back. But then people will ignore this scene because they lack media literacy.
I've been meaning to talk to you about something. I mean, I have been talking to you all the time. It's great to talk. So many good talks. I just haven't been talking to you about what I should have been talking to you about. Pete. Wait, let me start again.
I got this. All of it. Go be Peter Parker for a while.
Go be Peter Parker for a while, but the great replacement theory keeps on the knocking a while. And then when things hit the fan with Green Goblin and Carnage, you know, it's gonna be Peter Parker back in action. So, you know, I just wanted to point that out because, again, like, some people are just super weird about that and super stupid about that, and all the white people are getting replaced. No. I think there's going to be white protagonists and white men in a lot of places, and I don't know why you guys have that weird stupid logic. It's just kind of funny. You act like the most oppressed people of all time. It's ridiculous when even in media, even in a highly anticipated Spider-Man 3 in the future, you're not going anywhere. It's gonna be 2 spider people, 2 spider men, and 1 spider girl. That's it.
Liberals everywhere, you're a hateful bigot because you don't want your kids to have to stare at naked men exposing themselves on the streets of Portland. Oh, and I confirmed on...
It's fine to not want your children to see all that. I see no problem with that at all.
On Snopes, whether this actually happened or not, it 100% did, but suspiciously, somehow all of the photos and video evidence of it has been scrubbed from the internet by either the federal government, by BlackRock, or whoever.
What? They say BlackRock, like, expunged a couple of videos of people at a parade and indecent exposure was happening. I don't know, that's just kind of funny, and the picture itself is also like super hilarious. I don't what is this? Ah, man.
So right off the bat here, at a conceptual level, I just want to talk about how absolutely insane it is to use a word to disparage somebody for not liking something that just comes down to taste. I will never like lotion. I will never like asparagus.
If you don't like lotion, you must be ashy as fuck. I don't know. Your skin must be like fucking dry as shit. I don't like asparagus either. And you know, if there is a movie where there is two same-sex characters kissing, I'm not a pussy to say like, oh well, you know, I hate this. This doesn't progress the story or anything like that, or it doesn't progress the characterization, because I mean, we saw it with The Last of Us on HBO and the Bill episode, and I didn't hate it. I wasn't one of those people that go, oh, this offends me. You know, as a straight man, it's like, all right, let's see how the two characters of Bill and Frank progress from here. And ultimately, I ended up liking the episode. I wasn't offended by it, and I didn't have this super adverse reaction. I don't know why people just can't be normal, even if they don't like the scenes involved in that show. Just being so outward to constantly ping this in like videos is probably not helping your case that you definitely do have some tendencies to be homophobic. But again, you know, you can do you. You're AndyPants. I forgot you're the guy who shuts off comment sections. It's typical norm. It seems like you just can't handle a lot of stuff. You can't handle the comments, and you can't handle outward sexuality in fictional shows that really, it's not like you're being tied down in Guantanamo Bay and being forced to watch like some gay porn or something. I don't know why you're acting like this, but you know, it's just a TV show. It's just a video game. You can eject the disc. You can turn the shit off. You could turn the TV off. Like, it's like so many options to play something that doesn't have thematics, that doesn't cater to you. But again, it's AndyPants, so he doesn't know the meaning of options and choices and things like that. It's like, oh my god, I've seen it is being forced down my throat, and I feel like that's the most just very erroneous argument of all time. I don't think anything is being forced down someone's throat with media if they have control over it. You know, not buying it, or not buying games, or buying games that they like if it doesn't bother them, or people who do that. Like, it's a lot of options out there. I think you should try some.
And I will never like being forced to watch two dudes make out. To call people like me, quote, homophobic for that is just going to cause us to embrace the term more and more.
I don't, well, see, here's the thing. Embracing the term along with any sort of hatreds alongside with it is not a good thing, nor would I say is healthy in any case. Maybe just, you know, sit down with a person, have a discussion on the other side of the fence and see where that goes, as opposed to saying, oh, well, you're gay and I don't like you. It could be better conversations that way. Again, that's just me proposing that to you, AndyPantsGaming.
Which is actually what is happening to Giga Chads around the world right now. When I see somebody calling somebody homophobic now, I just think, okay, so that dude's normal.
Wait, so that dude's normal? Okay. He did talk about mental illness earlier, and that's pretty something. It's like he's kind of embarking on that behavior.
Zooming out for a minute, though, I want us to etymologically analyze this word and see how it falls apart. Homo is the Latin word for human. Phobos in Greek mythology was the twin brother of Deimos and was the Greek god of fear or terror. So homophobic literally means hatred of humans. This obviously isn't the meaning they intended, so it's closer to being a compound word of homosexual and phobic. So according to them, the word they invented, homophobic, literally means fear of homosexuals. But is that what is actually going on here?
Considering everything you said with this point right here, being forced to watch two dudes banging, yeah, it is a fear that you have with that, even though that I would say that doesn't even change your orientation at all. You can turn it off, turn the TV off, not support. things monetarily. It's many options that you have. But overall, though, if a character is same sex and it pushes the story in a way that makes sense to the storytelling, characterization, and immersion at the time, then it doesn't really bother me. And I'm a straight man saying this, you know. I've seen it all in fiction and movies. Like, I don't know how you would survive being a movie watcher, because I've been through so many films where stuff like that has happened. Characters like that have this forbidden love for each other and they express it somehow. So it doesn't really affect me in the slightest, because I know that they're building a fictional story with fictional characters, and that does not impede my day.
Fear of homosexuals, afraid of homosexuals. I mean, no offense, guys, but who is afraid of fabulous clothes and friendly gay men? So there's no actual fear of gay people going on. I think what is actually going on is this. They need a word to call people who, on moral grounds, have disagreed with their lifestyle for thousands of years and, frankly, have a lot more of a solid foundation for their beliefs. Christianity has taught for 2,000 years and still teaches to this day that homosexuality is wrong. Islam has taught for 1,400 years and still teaches to this day that homosexuality is wrong.
Well, for this in particular, I'm not going to get overly religious, but there's a lot of people that will not do everything that the Bible says. If the Bible told you to not brush your teeth, would you listen to the Bible? No. Do you want to be sitting around with mush mouth and chocolate and worms in your teeth just because the Bible says something? I mean, no. You live by the toot of your own horn, and obviously you need to do certain things to, you know, survive and reproduce and everything, and then other people live their own lives oppositely. I don't think there's too much of an issue with that, as long as they're not doing anything illegal. That's the only thing that I care about.
Most of the continent of Africa consider homosexuality a crime. Most of the Middle East considers homosexuality a crime.
And that's why certain people make fun of them as well for being so removing games from that country, just because it's a lot of gamers that's not playing certain games because they haven't gotten over the hump of how they feel. But hey, I mean, sometimes you just miss out.
Only in the West, within the past 50 years or so, has the religious cult of the LGBT pushed for its acceptance in society. And to be clear, it is certainly a new religion. So to think that
it's a new religion, oh my God in heaven. I don't care if you're a fan of this guy. That is the most funniest thing I think I've ever heard a human say, whether ironically or unironically. Holy fucking shit, dude. And it's for the wrong reasons, in my opinion.
that we can just rewrite morality to fit our own cultural moment seems a bit self-absorbed, doesn't it? Within the past,
This is just that meme of yeah, you looking into this way too deep, bro. This is way too deep, bro. It's not even as deep as you're making it out to be. So that's kind of how I feel about it.
50 years, the woke, homo, progressive left has justified abortion, the butchering of millions of children. They've justified homosexuality. They've already started to justify child loving by referring to those people as maps.
I feel like a lot of this with the bottom and the top is assumption based, because according to what I heard from Penguin Zero, was his name, Charlie, he said you have to be of age in order to transition, right? And that's a law everywhere. The maps thing is just dude, okay, we're getting into these topics of PDF files now. All right, so PDF files, a predator can exist everywhere. We saw people defending Dr. Disrespect, the straight man with like children. and he was preying on a minor inappropriately with text. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? So when people like to generalize and label one breed of people as pedophiles, you might want to also look at history and see how many degenerate people have been in our gaming and YouTube and community space. And not all of them are part of homosexuality. A lot of them seem like just average, everyday neighbors engaging in fucked up behavior. And I completely disavow all of it. Anyone doing that, you deserve to have like your head turned into a basketball. That's just me. But yeah, I think that going back to this, that is what I've gleaned from everything I've heard. So no, I've heard people say that before. Oh, you're butchering our children. You're taking them to be indoctrinated and have their loins cut off. But no, I think you have to be of age to transition. It's just a shame I wasn't thinking of that before. Either way it goes, there are places in the states that are banning gender affirming care for minors. I believe if you want to transition at the age of 18 and it is fine, you are a legal adult at that point and you are 18, you could do whatever you want. And I personally support that either way. That's how I feel. If you want to do it at 18 and it is legal at 18, by the time 18 comes, you can do exactly what you want.
A way of justifying the behavior they call minor attracted persons. But when your morality is subjective, which is really just another way of saying that they have no morality, I mean, today it's homosexuality, but who knows what they will try to justify next. And
I want this guy to justify being a Nazi. I think that'd be pretty funny, actually. I just, that's your Renegade joke for today.
look, guys, I am happy to live in a society with gay people.
No, you're not.
What you do behind closed doors, I don't really care about. And
no, you're not. Otherwise, you wouldn't be talking about it and putting it on a grandstand pedestal. You clearly do care to some grand degree that there is replacement theories happening for you or things being shoved down your throat. Clearly, there is a care on your side, which is why you've made this video in the first place. And of course, you go to the typical everyone's being brainwashed side of things, which is kind of tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist, the usual that you would see from people of your caliber. It's just common and normal, as opposed to people just living. You think it's all brainwashing and some sort of cult or whatever you think in the back of your head, when I'm pretty sure that's not always the case. Rational people would see it that way. It's not always the case, and you should probably stop fear-mongering once in your life. I think that'd be beneficial to you and your health.
And as always, the only time we do care is when it affects our lives or the lives of our children. So to close this video down, I think calling people homophobic is a very pick-me way of pretending.
Pick me way. Oh my god. There is legitimate hatred out there. It sometimes happens. And when the situation calls for it, your morals of saying, hey, that might be wrong or fucked up, usually will come into play. But for you, it probably won't.
You're oppressed when you're not. Many cultures with traditions going back thousands of years want to teach their kids that homosexuality is wrong, and that is their right. And to be honest, history is on their side.
When my kid, well, hypothetically, because I really don't want children, but if my kid decided to do whatever the fuck they wanted at 18, I would support it. Absolutely. That's how I feel, and that's kind of how it all should go, really.
But we do live in a free country, and you can also do whatever you want with your body.
Well, at least he said that, but he probably does not stand by it. Okay.
I just think calling people homophobic is a lazy, sloppy word to use that doesn't really get us any closer to understanding each other.
they can be called that if they exhibit those qualities of hatred, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But we are done with this video, and that was quite interesting actually. This AndyPants guy is just like, he likes to shut off comments and debates and all that other stuff. He's such a heart man, but every time I break down a video of his, I feel like I get 10 times more stupider.